Hello minasan, it's Hisako. I hope you're having a wonderful day or evening wherever you are. It's been a while since I posted a video. I've been a little busy lately, but I am back, so yay! I'm actually doing a video today to talk a little bit about something I've already kind of talked about on this channel, but I do have a large influx of new followers, especially on my Instagram, who are interested in the redo of my room. So we're going to actually talk a little bit more in detail about my Japanese style room and kind of more of those items and sort of the inspirations and kind of how I've come up with these items and where to get some of these items as well. So first, before I get into that, I do want to say a huge thank you to all of the new followers that I've gotten on my channels. Most of them probably have come from Cable House, I believe. So if you've come from Cable House, welcome, irashaimase. Welcome to my page. I hope you enjoy learning about geisha stuff and Japanese culture and just a little bit about what I do and kimono and everything like that. And yeah, we'll go into the details and kind of talk a little bit about the room. So with that, let's get started on the first item. So when it comes to building a Japanese themed room, there's a few basics that you would need in order to really kind of complete that style. Again, you can kind of get as creative as you want with it, kind of, you know, do whatever. You can be as simple or as elaborate as you would like. But there are a few key elements that really elevate the room to really give it that sort of Japanese vibe. So one of the first items I'm going to talk about is actually behind me here. So you'll recognize this. This is a shoji screen, and I'll put that below here so you can see how it's spelled. So shoji screens are very Japanese, obviously. This one that I have behind me actually came from Amazon. So this one's got 8 panels that go across most of this back wall that I have in this room, but you can do some that are less panels if you want like 3, 4, 6, whatever you want. I think 10 might be the biggest one I've seen, I think, but 8's pretty big. It takes up most of this wall. So this one I've gotten on Amazon. This one does have some kind of wooden panels sort of at the bottom, just to kind of give it a different feel. But you can find ones that do not have those panels if you don't want it. They come in all kinds of different colors and styles. This one is a dark walnut color because I wanted darker woods for this room to give it more of that kind of older Japanese style as opposed to more of a newer modern look. But you can get ones with like the light bamboo color, rosewood, you can get traditional black, the very light tan bamboo, whatever tickles your fancy. So they have all different kinds as well as different styles of the like wood framing here. This is the very traditional style that you see most of the time, but there are some on Amazon especially that are a little more simple or a little more elaborate. I've seen some that have the background painted with like a cherry blossom tree on the back, which looks pretty cool. So just depends on the vibe of what you want to do. I went for something pretty simple. Also to keep in mind with this one, this is kind of like a almost like a felted type material, like a thin felted, I don't know what that's called, but it's like a thin felted material. This is not paper, so it's a little more durable. If you do get a shoji screen that is made with actual paper, please be very careful with it. It is very delicate. But I actually prefer ones like this that have the synthetic kind of felted material because this is a lot more durable and less likely to rip up the way paper would. But again, I would still be really delicate with it. What I've done with this one to kind of elevate it is there is a soft glow that you'll see underneath here. I have added an LED light strip so I can kind of make it look a little more warm and elegant. Obviously you don't have to do that, but if you want to add a really cool vibe to it, put an LED light behind it and you can choose whatever colors you want. I went with a very traditional soft yellow color, but if you want to do like a blue or a pink or a green, red, whatever, you can go ahead and put whatever kind of color you want, but I think that that really elevates it if you do the LED lights. But yes, this is available on Amazon. So one of the other key elements you will need to really complete your Japanese style room is tatami floors, and I will put that here as well so you can see how that's spelled. So tatami is absolutely a must if you want a Japanese themed room. I've done a little bit of research, so I've kind of done something a little different with my tatami floors, and I'll go ahead and get into that. But these can be found on Amazon as well as traditional tatami flooring can be found on Amazon as well in different sizes and different kind of like lengths. So just depending on how much tatami you want. What you're looking at here, I'll kind of scoot over a little bit. So this is actually not real tatami. I know, I'm a fake. Everything about my channel is fake. Anyway, moving on. This is fake tatami. So this is actually like a synthetic kind of woven, almost rattan style material. I actually went with this because tatami does require a little bit of maintenance. So if you're not aware, tatami can kind of be a little problematic, especially depending on the kind of climate you live in. I live in Houston where it is very humid, and that can present a problem, as tatami is made of real grass. So it's like real woven grass material. It is prone to mold and bugs if you don't take very good care of it, as well as, I believe it's every couple months, I think, or once a month, you have to take the tatami outside and air it out for a day to allow it to breathe. Otherwise, mold can form or bugs can be attracted to it. So tatami does require a little bit of maintenance. If you're up for the maintenance and you want a very authentic feel, then go for tatami. I love tatami. I love the way it feels. I love the smell of the grass. Some people don't like that, so it depends on if you like it or not. I will say tatami does have a very strong grass smell. So if you're sensitive to that smell or have allergies, maybe not so much. But if you like it like I do, it's awesome. Definitely a very nostalgic scent for me. But what I love about these ones are these are not real tatami. So these are synthetic. I like this color because it has the kind of matcha green colored sort of dividers here, as well as this nice kind of tan colored woven material. Again, these are synthetic. They're kind of like padded and soft, so they're not hard like tatami, making them a little more comfortable to sit on or even lay on. If you wanted to do a futon over these, traditional style Japanese bed, you absolutely could, and it would actually be very comfortable. But these do not require any maintenance, so they don't get mold, they're not going to attract bugs because everything is synthetic. So if you want something low maintenance like I do, highly, highly recommend this. This is also very foldable. As you can see, it's got like padding material underneath, but this easily folds up along these borders here and has its own carrying case so that you can put it away if you're not wanting to use it. So a little bit easier to store than tatami, a lot more convenient. But I really, really love these, and these are really easy to clean. I just run a vacuum over it, and then I actually take some Clorox wipes, or you can just use a damp rag, and I just kind of wipe it just to keep the surface clean from time to time of dust and things like that. So I highly recommend these. These are on Amazon as well. They have this variety that looks very traditional with the matcha green and the tan, but if you want something a little different, they do have a variety that's a little bit of a darker rattan material, and it has a brown borders instead of the matcha green if you want something a little bit darker. But yeah, highly, highly recommend these as a tatami alternative. They are also a little bit more affordable than true tatami, so I highly recommend these. So if you're one of my new followers that's come from Cabell House, you'll be very well aware on Cabell House's channel that he is all about lighting. There are lights everywhere. That's one of the top things I always see in the comments on his page is like, oh, how much does that cost? What's the electricity bill like? You know, just all of the lights. I will say the majority of the lights are LED, so they actually are very low wattage, so it's super nice. So we don't actually use that much in electricity, so bonus. But he does have a lot of lighting regardless, and there's a lot of colors. As you can see, my room is a little less colorful. We've gone for a more traditional vibe, but lighting is just as important in this room as any other room in the house. So I've decided to go with a very traditional kind of low, dimly lit kind of vibe for this room because I wanted it to feel intimate and inviting and just warm and cozy. Especially on a rainy day, this room feels very cozy. But one of the things you can also get to really complete your traditional Japanese style room is lanterns, particularly paper lanterns. So I have a couple in this room. I'll show you my other one here in a second. But these absolutely will add to that vibe if you're going for a traditional Japanese vibe. There's all kinds of different styles you can do. Some are more simple, such as this one I have here, as well as ones that are in more of like kind of a wooden boxy type casing that looks more like a box style lantern. I've seen ones on stands, just simple ones you can hang from the ceiling, whatever. It can be whatever kind of paper lantern you want, but I highly recommend doing a Japanese style paper lantern or something that has a similar vibe. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the lights in this room. I've got a couple to go over beyond the LED lighting behind the shoji screen. As you can see, we have this one here. This I bought also on Amazon. When I was first designing this room, fun fact, this was the very first piece I bought to start this room and kind of kickstarted the inspiration that I had for the room. So this is one of those Noguchi Akari style lamps. It is not, I guess, the authentic one. I didn't realize there was like an actual real one until recently. This is the one from Amazon, so I guess it's a knockoff, but it's inexpensive. But I really, really like this one. It is made of real paper, so you do need to be delicate with it because it's easy to impale if you're not. So please be careful with these lamps. They are delicate. But I really, really liked the shape of this one. It's kind of like at a mid-level here, as you can see. I had wanted to have what's called a bombori style lamp in this room, which I'll go ahead and put a picture in frame here of what a bombori style lamp is if you're not aware. They are very difficult to find, and if you do find them, they are quite expensive. So not something I can easily find here in the States. So when I saw this lamp on Amazon, I actually thought that was perfect to give that same sort of bombori-esque vibe that I wanted for this room, while also being something I can easily find. So I really highly recommend this lamp. It looks very cool, adds a lot of nice lighting. It is perfect for a Japanese style room. So with that, let's move on to a couple of the other lights that I want to talk about. So as you can see, I have another paper lantern down here. Also say hi to Shoni. He's going to make an appearance in this video because he always does. He's very camera ready. He loves to be on camera even when I don't want him to be. So say hello to Shoni. Anyway, this is my other paper lantern I have. So this one's a little different from the Noguchi Akari one that I showed you. This one's smaller. It is still made of paper, so be delicate with it. This has more of a rounded shape. This one, I guess, is kind of considered more of like a desk lamp since it is quite low to the floor. I've actually used this more as just a floor lamp over here for this space because it's a very traditional Japanese space. So the area I'm kind of sitting in with my mirror behind me and stuff is sort of like my vanity area for this room. So it's very traditional. You would kneel in front of it. I've got all of my kind of boxes with accessories and things like that. So I wanted something that felt kind of like a desk lamp for that space, if that makes sense. So this is really low to the ground and I really liked it for that reason, but you can easily use this as a desk lamp or a table lamp as well, as it's traditionally intended for. This one is again also from Amazon, but this has got like a rounded look, but I have seen ones that have more of kind of this egg shape, or one that kind of looks like a three-tiered kind of dome, like almost a snowman shape, if that makes sense. So there's all kinds of different shapes. Some are like boxy shaped. That's pretty cool. So there's all kinds of different shapes you could do with this. But again, another really great accent for your Japanese style room. So last lighting element that I'm going to kind of go over for this room, since it's kind of the last lamp I guess I have in here, is going to be this pendant light that I have up here. So originally, if you follow my channel from before, there was a ceiling fan up here, which I ended up getting rid of. It didn't really match the room. It was part of the original house and I just wasn't a big fan of it. So I really wanted to have a Japanese style pendant light for this room just to give it a nice warm glow. Gives it a little more illumination so it's not quite so dim, but also just really fits the vibe and highlights my brown ceiling that I painted by hand, which was such a pain, but it was worth it. But yes, this is a pendant lamp. So this one's also from Amazon. It's a little different in that this is actually made of bamboo and a linen type material. So this one will not rip quite so easily the way like the paper lanterns would, which is part of why I really liked this one. I just felt like it had a really good color scheme, and because of the kind of tan colored linen, it really gives that warmth to the room that I was looking for. So I really, really love this lamp. I think it's listed as a pumpkin lamp since it does have a bit of a pumpkin light shape, but it looks very, very Japanese. I've seen lots of images of Japanese style rooms like in Japan. They have almost identical lamps like this in the room. So when I saw this on Amazon, I was super drawn to it because I'm like, oh, that looks exactly like what I'm wanting. So highly recommend this. It's not super big, so I wouldn't recommend it for a super large space. If you're looking for something big and bold, I would look for maybe one of those like big round paper lanterns perhaps. But if you just have like a room that's like a bedroom size or an office size, and you just want a little accent pendant lamp, highly recommend this one. It's super cute, I love it, and it's super easy to install. So last major item I'm going to talk about for this room, and then after that I'm going to go over some smaller details really quick. But last big item to talk about to complete your Japanese style room is actually going to be the table that I have in the center here. So this table is really nice. It is a low style table, almost like a coffee table, which is what I was going for. This is made of a dark colored wood, so it has like a nice walnut finish, again, to match the vibe that I have in the room. This table is also foldable. These bottom parts here do fold underneath, so it's easy to store and put away if you need to. Sometimes I fold this and take it out of the way so I can have more space for the room if I'm doing something like dance practice or kimono dressing or anything like that. So it's really convenient. Again, this is from Amazon as well. They do have a couple different sizes. I believe this size is the largest one I got because I wanted a pretty good sized table to fill the space. But they do have ones that are a little smaller, as well as they do have different colors. So if you want to do like a light tan or a more warm color, they do have a couple of different color options, but I really liked this dark one. I also like that it's got like some wood carving kind of on the bottom here. See if I can show you a little bit. You can see right here. Thank you, Shoni. Anyway, you can see right here it's got some carving that I think is really pretty. So I really enjoyed that element of it. I've also added this little tablecloth with a wave pattern. I actually got this from a seller on Etsy, as well as this cute little fake bonsai tree because I'm not good with real plants, so I use fake plants in my room. But I just thought a little bonsai tree on the table just was the perfect little accent to complete this space. So I do recommend a table if you're wanting to have sort of a sitting area. Not required for a Japanese style room, but if you want a space to kind of sit at and do things at, I really like this table. I use it a lot. As well as I've got these cushions. You'll notice that you've seen them probably in my videos. I'll pull my other one out here. These cushions here. So these I got also on Amazon as well. These are considered yoga cushions, so a little different. Traditionally, when you have a Japanese style space and like these Japanese style tables, the kinds of cushions that they have are usually more flat and a little smaller than this, very traditional. But again, I was having a hard time finding something like that here. And I also don't find them necessarily that comfortable, especially if it's hard for you to be on your knees. They don't have as much padding as I wish that they did. So I actually found these ones on Amazon that have quite a bit of padding. They're very thick, they're very large and wide. So as you can see, kind of point the camera a little bit, there is a lot of space here. So I really, really like these. They're very comfortable. They are kind of flattened when you get them, but they do expand after you take them out of the package. So I really love these. They're kind of like, they remind me of the armchair of the tatami seating world. I don't know how to describe it, but they're really, really nice. I have two, so I have one for each table. But sometimes when I want to just kind of chill out and take a nap in here, which I do sometimes, I actually just line the two up together. If I had a third one, it'd be a little better, and just kind of curl up and take a nap. So they're very comfortable. I've actually fallen asleep on them before. So highly recommend these for a comfortable seating arrangement for your Japanese style table if you choose to do that for your room. So I've gone over what a lot of the major basics that you would need for a Japanese style room would be. And again, all of those are pretty much available on Amazon, so easy to find those items and build your own style room. But a lot of what makes a room really individual, in my opinion, is the knickknacks and all the sort of decor and accessories that you add to a room. So that's what's really going to transform your room. If you want to keep it more simple, then you're free to do that. That's fine. But if you want to add a little more personality, highly recommend adding some little kind of decor and items here and there. As you can see here, we have this wall scroll and sort of all these different items I have down here. So when you're building a Japanese style room, this space is called a tokonoma. So traditionally, tokonoma are almost sort of like this alcove that's sort of recessed into the wall. So it's kind of like separate almost. Obviously, this is a Western style room, so I do not have a, what's the word I'm thinking of? Assigned tokonoma space. So I've sort of created one with this back wall. But traditionally, that's a space where you would see things like the wall scrolls, maybe some flower arrangements, or maybe a small vase or something like that. It's traditionally a space that sort of represents like peace and tranquility. Usually they'll have different scrolls for different types of seasons or different events they might be having or whatever. So the scrolls can have different meanings and can be changed out depending on the time of year or holidays or whatever. I just have the same one that I have here for decor since I do not have multiple scrolls, so I've gone with this crane one. But I do recommend if you have a space to build a tokonoma, I recommend it. I used a little computer riser as a table since I did not have an elevated space for that, so that actually worked really well for that. But a lot of these items are going to be from places like Etsy, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, thrift stores, just all kinds of stuff. So I will say a lot of the decor that I have in my room that's more personalized, that's stuff that I've collected over the years from different places online or in real life, as well as gifts from friends, family over the years, things like that. So there's a lot of different items in here that I don't actually quite know the origin of, but many of them did come from eBay and Etsy. So I do recommend, if you can, a wall scroll is a really great item to have for some art on your walls. We also have, if you turn over here, I have a kimono. This style kimono with the long sleeves is called furisore, as opposed to tomesore, which is the shorter sleeves. This is a vintage one I found on eBay. I'm using it as a wall piece because on the inside, you can't see it on the outside, but on the inside it's actually got quite a bit of damage, so it's not a wearable piece, but it worked really well to use as a wall decor piece. So highly recommend something like that. We have this vintage dance fan or myogi fan that I have up here. It's got some kind of pine needles. Fans are always a great motif to have in a room like this, as well as kimono if you can. You'll also see here we've got some fake bamboo plants, as well as some more little kind of knickknacks, a geisha doll, things like that. You can find geisha dolls on Amazon, as well as Etsy and eBay for more vintage ones. But Amazon's got some inexpensive ones that you can put in the room just for a neat piece, as well as different levels of bamboo. These ones I think are like 6 feet, they're pretty tall, but you can get shorter ones if you want. But bamboo, cherry blossoms, all that stuff, that's also a really great way to accent the room. But again, many of the decor pieces that you see on my walls and that you've probably seen in my videos are vintage and collected from many different places over the years. But if you have a chance to check some of those places out, I do recommend Etsy, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and also try like garage sales, your local thrift store. Any of these places are bound to have some Japanese antiques as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about my Japanese style room that I've done, or you'll probably see it on Cable House's page listed as our Japanese tea room, because you can do tea in here if you want as well. So the only other thing I would recommend to really make your space look more authentic is do some wall paint or wall style artwork. I highly recommend colors that are light, neutral, and earthy, since they do give more of that sort of authentic vibe. I've got the one wall with the matcha green behind me, and the rest of the room is like a warm kind of tan color, as well as I've used a dark brown to sort of do the baseboards and the framing around the door as well. And I also did the ceiling to give it a little bit more of a smaller, intimate look. So I do recommend, if you can, do some painting with the walls, or even a light like eggshell or off-white color to keep it simple would be great as well. But that's the last little thing I would really do to kind of pull your room together, is maybe do a nice paint job on it. But other than that, that is kind of the wrap of this tour, as well as talking a little bit more detail about some of these items and how to get started with your own Japanese themed room. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know in the comments below. I will also include in the description of this video a list of the Amazon list that has some of those items on it, so you can always click on that link to go check it out and look at those items yourself, or add new items if you want. So please take a look if you have a chance. And again, if you're coming from Cable House, thank you so much for following my page. I really appreciate it. I always appreciate all the support that I get from everybody with what I do. So I'm a very small, humble channel, as you can see, so I really appreciate it. But again, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So take care, minasan. We'll see you soon. Arigatou gozaimashita.